Welcome back. Today's recap is a supernatural comedy film called Good Fortune, so sit back and enjoy. The story opens on a huge, endless line of anxious people. In the middle stands Arch, calmly waiting his turn, not for himself, but for someone else. Arch is just doing his job. He's a task sergeant who gets paid through an app to run errands for others. Right now, his assignment is to wait in line for hours to buy some rare, in-demand pastries called Zero B buns for a client. As the slow line inches forward, Arch chats with another man about how tough the economy has become. They agree the American dream is gone. Even with college degrees, it feels like there are no real chances to get ahead. After 2 long hours, an employee announces the pastries are sold out. Arch calls his client, who angrily cancels the order, leaving Arch unpaid for his wasted time, and making the whole situation feel completely unfair. Just then, an investor grabs the pastries without waiting, leaving Arch frustrated and powerless. Later, at his second temp job at Hardware Heaven, he meets Elena in the lumber section, who's working to organize a union for the employees. She urges him to join, saying workers deserve better conditions, but Arch, jaded and pessimistic, refuses. He insists he's just passing through to earn money, and that challenging the system is pointless. That night, they bump into each other at a food truck and decide to eat together. They click instantly, sharing stories of their lives, and Arch admits he struggles with sleep. Elena suggests a bedtime story app that helps her sleep, but Arch's life is far harsher than it seems. After they part ways, he heads to his home, which is actually his car. He calls his dad, lying about living in a cozy apartment. Later, parked in a hidden spot, he tries Elena's app but can't relax. Constant ads for a premium subscription interrupt the story, reminding him of his poverty even in sleep. Meanwhile, on a hidden spiritual plane, Gabriel, an ambitious angel, listens with envy as Azrael recounts saving a soul at Niagara Falls with visions of hope. Inspired, Gabriel pleads with his supervisor Martha for an important mission. Martha, practical as ever, denies his request and reminds him of his dull current job, stopping people from texting while driving. She gives him a small task instead: prevent Elena from crashing her car that week. Gabriel insists he's found a lost soul who truly needs help. Arch. Meanwhile, Arch's life keeps getting worse. A security guard kicks him out of the parking lot, and with nowhere else to go, he sneaks into a gym bathroom to clean up, enduring a bizarre conversation with Leonard, who asks for toothpaste and talks about a girl who smells like blueberries. Desperate for money, Arch takes a new task: cleaning the garage of wealthy Jeff. The class gap is huge. Jeff greets him warmly while moving between ice baths and saunas. Arch works like clockwork, organizing the clutter and inflating pool toys. Impressed, Jeff offers him burrata and listens as Arch proposes becoming his personal assistant. Jeff gives him a 1-week trial. Arch quickly adapts to Jeff's fast-paced, eccentric world, handling tasks from hiring a shaman for an ayahuasca session to setting up a dance floor and buying a $250,000 watch engraved with "Pretty Baby." Jeff casually explains his fortune comes from a venture capital firm, building trust between them. One day, he shows Arch a gun from his safe, gives him the code, and shares some unsettling advice. Shoot first, ask questions later, Jeff warns. Then the mood shifts. Arch asks to leave early for a date with Elena. Excited, Jeff turns into a life coach, banning tacos, suggesting the upscale Dunsmore restaurant, and even lending Arch a designer jacket. The date at Dunsmore feels bittersweet. The restaurant is perfect but outrageously expensive. Arch and Elena share dishes, yet the bill still strains Arch's budget. Trying to impress Elena, he makes a huge mistake, paying with Jeff's company credit card. The consequences hit immediately. Jeff confronts him the next day. Despite Arch's pleas and promises to repay, Jeff feels betrayed and fires him on the spot. Back in hardship, Arch resorts to selling his plasma for a few dollars. Exhausted, he sleeps at a Denny's and wakes up to a terrible discovery. A tow truck has taken Arch's car, his only home, over unpaid tickets. At rock bottom, jobless and homeless, he encounters Gabriel. The angel appears on the street, spreading his wings and introducing himself as Arch's savior, showing him visions of a hopeful future if he keeps fighting honestly. But the future Gabriel shows is bleak. Arch stuck in a grueling delivery job, peeing in bottles to save time, living cramped in Elena's mom's house, and unable to afford surgery for a sick dog. Instead of inspiring him, it horrifies Arch. He screams that his life is meaningless and that he's only there to serve the rich. Frustrated, Gabriel decides to teach him a lesson and takes a drastic step. Gabriel snaps his fingers, and reality shifts. Arch wakes up in a luxury sports car outside Jeff's mansion. Inside, Jeff, dressed plainly, acts like Arch's assistant. Gabriel, visible only to Arch, explains that their lives have been swapped. Arch now has Jeff's wealth and status, while Jeff faces Arch's struggles. The swap will last until Arch chooses to return to his old life. Dazed but intrigued, he explores his new mansion. While relaxing by the pool, Gabriel urges him to attend a crucial business meeting, hoping the stress will teach him a lesson. But the meeting turns out to be a surprisingly enjoyable farce. The partners dine on top-tier sushi, fussing over trivial things like candle scents, all on the company's dime. Arch realizes the life of the rich is absurdly easy. Back home, he learns the pool heater is broken, and fixing it comes with a hefty price. Gabriel watches, expecting Arch to stress over the cost, but Arch pays without a second thought. With newfound confidence and unlimited resources, he sets his sights on winning Elena back. He visits the store, pretends it's their first meeting, and asks her out. This time, he takes her to the same pricey restaurant, but they order the most exclusive dishes without worrying about the cost. At the end, the manager announces their dinner is free, a perk for VIP clients. When the trial week ends, Gabriel confronts Arch, expecting him to realize money can't buy happiness and want his old life back. He's wrong. Arch refuses, choosing the comfortable, wealthy life of Jeff over his old struggles. Gabriel tries to pressure him, but is horrified to realize a heavenly rule. Change can't be forced, it must be chosen willingly. Arch refuses to return, remaining stuck in Jeff's life indefinitely. The mission is a complete failure. Martha scolds Gabriel for his arrogance and for altering so many lives. As punishment, Martha rips off Gabriel's wings and strips him of his powers. Banished to the human world, he's vulnerable, visible to all. Seeing the unfairness, Gabriel touches Jeff's shoulder, still believed to be the poor assistant, and floods him with all the memories of his original life at once. The shock makes Jeff faint, and when he wakes, he panics, demanding his life back and even offering Arch money to reverse the swap. Arch is tempted, but not ready to return to poverty, negotiates for a bit more time. They agree Arch will enjoy the wealth for a few more days. Jeff, resigned, takes in Gabriel, now a homeless human, and they share a room in a cheap motel. The next morning, they're kicked out for non-payment, left on the street. Karma hits Jeff hard, forcing him to endure the harsh reality Arch faced daily. He tries working for the delivery app with Arch's old car, but it's a disaster. Struggling with the manual transmission, getting awful ratings, and facing rich customers' scorn, he hits rock bottom when he learns he won't be paid until week's end, leaving him and Gabriel to sleep in the car, hungry and miserable. Meanwhile, Arch's arrogance starts harming his real relationships. He tries to impress Elena with a spontaneous trip to Paris, but she refuses, committed to her union work. Blinded by ego, Arch dismisses her efforts and implies her fight is pointless. Disappointed by Arch's arrogance, Elena distances herself. Distracted and upset, Arch repeats his earlier mistake, texting while driving. Without a guardian angel this time, he crashes and falls into a coma. Gabriel learns the news and sadly informs Jeff. Now they're stuck in that harsh reality until Arch wakes up and chooses to change his life. To make matters worse, Martha tells Gabriel he's permanently fired until he fixes the chaos. Experiencing life as a human for the first time, Gabriel feels hunger and cold. Jeff shows him how to eat, and Gabriel discovers the joy of burgers and milkshakes, but they urgently need money. Jeff tries returning to his old investment firm, but is thrown out by security, unrecognized. With no options, Gabriel takes a dishwashing job. The joy of his first paycheck fades when taxes leave him barely enough to survive. Weeks later, Arch wakes from his coma. Jeff, seeing a delivery notification at Arch's old address, realizes Arch is back and rushes to the mansion, eager to reclaim his life. The encounter is frustrating. Arch pretends not to recognize Jeff, claiming memory loss from the accident, and even hands him a medical pamphlet to back it up, leaving them stuck in misery. Desperate, Jeff asks to speak to a higher authority, but Gabriel admits he has none. He's now a mortal who smokes to cope with stress. Undeterred, Jeff urges Gabriel to fight to reclaim his wings. Inspired, Gabriel realizes the chaos began when he failed his mission with Elena. Hoping to fix things, he crashes her union meeting, giving a passionate speech about enjoying life with money, even mentioning chicken, nuggets, and milkshakes. But when he admits he doesn't work there, security ejects him. The effort fails, the union loses the vote, and Elena is crushed. That night, Gabriel drinks his sorrows away at a bar. His coworker Felipe cheers him up and takes him dancing, where a small miracle happens. Felipe introduces his wife, the same woman Gabriel saved in the accident at the story's start. Seeing her happy, Gabriel realizes his actions did make a difference, restoring his hope. Meanwhile, Jeff's life as a delivery driver hits rock bottom. He's fired and replaced by delivery robots. On his way out, he finds his car towed for unpaid tickets, reliving Arch's cycle of misfortune. Frustrated and aware of his birthday party at the mansion that night, Jeff sneaks in to steal his luxury watches, counting on Arch's supposed amnesia to protect him. The party is lively, but Arch feels empty amid all the luxury. Elena, now a waitress at the event, approaches after the guests leave. She reveals she lost her apartment and lives in a car, but firmly says she'd rather fight honestly from the bottom than live in a hollow mansion. Her words hit Arch, making him question the life he took. Meanwhile, Jeff sneaks into the master bedroom to open the safe. Hearing noises, Arch thinks it's a burglar and shoots without hesitation, ironically following the advice Jeff gave him days earlier. The bullet hits Jeff in the leg. Screaming in pain, he yells at Arch, who admits he remembers everything. The amnesia was fake. At the hospital, Arch confesses he lied because his real life was too hard, but now, seeing the harm he caused, he's ready to change. Gabriel explains the swap can't happen yet. Arch still secretly believes his old life is worthless, and without true conviction, the magic won't work. With no other options, the three live together in the mansion while waiting for Arch to find hope. An unusual friendship forms as they share the sauna, eat tacos, and go dancing. Gabriel admits he loves being human and experiencing friendship. Then Martha appears, teaching him a final lesson. Sometimes a lost soul doesn't need magic, just a friend. Arch finally has a revelation, realizing he'd rather face his real struggles and relationships than live as someone else. He thanks Gabriel for being his angel and confidently chooses to follow his own path. In that moment, the magic works. Arch wakes up back in his original body and life, while Jeff returns to his mansion, changed by the experience. Having felt the struggles of the working class, Jeff now uses his power to push for higher pay for delivery drivers and stop automation. Arch comes to terms with his life, speaking honestly with his father and quitting temp work to follow his true passion, editing documentaries. The story closes with a symbolic gesture. In the final scene, Arch leaves a lone taco on the table, which floats away and disappears, a sign that Gabriel has regained his wings and continues watching over him. If you enjoyed this recap, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave a like to show your support. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.